Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Reino de las Mascaras, the Kingdom of the Masks. I am your host as always, Ray Mascaras, and this week we're going to do something a little different. Usually I tend to talk about a singular mask, but I'm going to kind of take this week to kind of walk everyone through the journey of how I got into mask collecting, where I'm at now as far as how many masks are in my collection, and also answer a few general questions, such as first mask, most recent mask, stuff like that. So last week my wife asked me how many masks I had, and I kind of had to think about it, and off of memory, I came out to 107. And out of those 107, 34 of them are either, such as the Bandito and Flamita masks behind me, are official masks that came from the luchadors themselves, and much like the Lucha Bros masks that you see over my other shoulder, ones that are signed and or ring worn. So 34 masks fall into that category. Another 32 fall into the pro-grade replica category, and then the rest of that figure goes to fan grade and semi-pro masks, which is where I kind of got my start. So I kind of wanted to get into mask collecting back in 2011. However, it just didn't work out. And the more I think about it, the more I think it probably worked out for the best, because I had no idea what I was doing. I was going on to Amazon, typing in Lucha Libre masks, and stuff was popping up. It ranged from either, a $20 mask to a $200 mask. And when I look back and think about it, I don't remember seeing a whole lot of difference between the two. So I kind of think it was a blessing that I didn't get into it back then, because I probably would have spent way too much money on a mask that was not of quality for that price, and probably would have driven me right out of the hobby. So I'm kind of thankful I did have the patience to hold off and not splurge, do my homework. So 2017 is when I officially began my collection. And the very first mask that I got was this fan grade Pentagon Jr. I bought this at a Pro Wrestling Revolver show in Iowa, their Tales of the Ring show. And I'd gotten into Lucha Underground, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla I followed during that time, so I was starting to see Pentagon Jr. quite a bit. So to see a mask of his, it's a fan grade, but to have a mask of his, it was like, hey, this is cool. I got to do this. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do one, and that'll be that. The following month, my parents went to San Francisco, and they brought home for me a Rey Mysterio mask. So this one, another fan grade. This is one of those that has kind of like the sponge inside the foam. And so, again, it was like very cool to have a mask of, my favorite luchador. So the following year, went to Revolver again. Yep, and it's not near me. Oh well. I came home with a La Parka mask, and that kind of got the ball rolling. I went on to High Spots. I got a couple of more, including this Atlantis fan grade mask. Again, another very cool mask. Fan grade, I've definitely moved away from, but, it brings back the memories, and it's Atlantis. You can't go wrong, and it's a fun mask. It's a fun mask. So from there, it kind of went from there, and I started getting into more of the semi-pro grade. I brought home a couple more fan grade masks, but after getting the semi-pros, it was kind of over for the fan grade at that point. From there, I jumped in with a couple of pro grade replicas, and again, it was kind of like a shift once again. It was like I can't go back to semi-pro after getting a pro grade, and I've gone back a couple of times. It's mainly masks that I'm not sure I'll get a chance to get an official version of, or even a pro grade version of. So that does kind of impact my buying choices. So last week we talked about the signed Penta El Cero Miedo mask that I got in 2020. That was my very first autographed mask. So the following year in 2021, I had an opportunity to officially buy masks directly from a luchador. So I actually ended up coming away with 2 of them. And if you go back to the very early days of the show, you'll remember me talking about these guys from Arrow Boy. And, you know, awesome masks. It was a very cool experience. You know, this is the first time I was able to interact with and buy things from a luchador in person. Up here in Minnesota at that point, it was not something you could really do very often. And I kind of find it funny now thinking about that, how many times I've done that since. So that was kind of a turning point for me. It was, you know, there's nothing like buying from somebody in front, you know, in person. You can't replicate that. So as time went on, when Republic of Lucha opened up, I started getting more of the official replicas from there. And you know, not just Penta and Phoenix, but Flamita, Bandito, Aramis I've gotten masks from at Republic of Lucha. So 2023 was kind of the year, you know, I'm talking about it like it's ancient history. It was only last year, but 2023 was kind of the year where, again, I shifted and the pro grade replicas became very rare. And it was all about ring worn official stuff. So that, you know, brings me to, you know, another question I get a lot of times is, what's my most recent mask? And for this particular time being, it is this one right here. I had my eye on this for quite a while and pulled the trigger on it, and I couldn't have been more thrilled when I got this. Teton, it is signed by the man himself. It was worn. I've got a picture of him wearing it. I don't know if he wore it in the ring, but it was on his head. So it's a worn Teton mask, and that is the most recent pickup that I've gotten as of this video. Another question I get is, who do I have the most masks of? And with my count, the winner of that came out to be Penta. I've got 11 Penta masks, again, ranging from fan grade to ring worn stuff. So Phoenix came in second with 10. And that one, with Phoenix, that one is interesting because I've got more official and ring worn masks than I do replica masks. So coming in third place was the aforementioned Teton. I've got 2 signed worn masks from Teton, and then I've got a couple of semi-pro replicas, and then I've got pro-grade replicas. So that was kind of interesting when I was doing my counts, because I really thought that Rey Mysterio would have been at the top, but he came in 4th. Actually, maybe tied 3rd with Teton. So it's been an interesting journey, and for it only being about 6 years, I've accomplished a lot. I've gotten to do a lot of very cool things. It's something that does keep me grounded a little bit. You know, as a collector, sometimes you kind of get in that funk where it's like, I got to get something. I got to get something. And that can lead to impulse buys. That can lead to, you know, seeing something really cool. And then after you make the purchase, you're kind of thinking like, oh, did I really need to buy that? And so, you know, with the shift over to, you know, the official ones, the ring worn ones, the signed ones, you know, you get a little pickier because things are a little spendier. So that is a challenge. I'm actually going through that right now. I've got, I spotted a mask yesterday and I looked at it and I about fell over because I'm like, I have to have that. I have to have that. gotta wait though. I gotta wait. And of course, with the waiting, sometimes it's, oh, well, what if I grab this? Maybe that'll, quench the thirst, so to speak. And it's like, no, don't. Just be patient. Be patient. So, yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of what I'm going through as of now. Every collector has. I've gone through it before. I'll go through it again. It's just one of those quirks with the hobby, is you run into those times where it's like, I really should not do this, but I really want this, and back and forth type of thing. So that's this week's episode. I hope I kind of was able to walk everyone through the journey that is being a mask collector. So hope everybody likes it. I hope some of my most common questions get answered there. I'm still looking to do like a general Q&A here in the next few weeks. This week kind of got busy and I forgot to put up the alert for questions. So maybe next week, maybe the week after, we'll see. Things are kind of starting to slow down. Winter's kind of starting to fade away a little bit. Spring's coming up. It's usually results in some stuff opening up, so as I'm not paying an arm and a leg to heat my house. So as always, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want to see. I'm readily available on Instagram and on Twitter, X, whatever it's called this week. So thank you all for joining me, as always, and we will talk to everyone next week. Live, laugh, love, and Lucha Libre. We'll see ya.